Hey, welcome to Dr. Paul Dyer. This is Bridges Live, and I'm talking to Marcus in the Melanin Code. But before I get to the show, I want to thank all my listeners and all my sponsors that I have for Bridges Live and Dr. Paul Weekly Wednesday and Dr. Paul Weekly. You know, you can always catch me on drpaulholisticscience.com. This is where I try to bridge the science to holistic life and get you to understand what we're doing. Because if you don't understand, I don't know how you can put things into an action. So let's get right to our interview. Marcus, welcome to Bridges Live.
Hey, thank you for having me. Such a pleasure.
Well, you know what? Let's give people a little bit of a backdrop, Marcus, on who you are and what you do. And I know you're down in the warm Orlando right now, so you're making people up here in the Northeast a little bit jealous as it starts to get a little bit cool here in the fall.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't start off down here. I started off I was born and raised in North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina to be exact. And so I went to Winston-Salem State University, graduated from there, and then I moved down to Florida, to Orlando specifically, to go to film school at a school called Full Sail University.
Okay.
I was there when I majored in film. And I'm back up. When I went to Winston State, I majored in mass communications, which that kind of concentrated in like your news, broadcast, stuff like that. I quickly found out that is not what I wanted to do. I went to movies and music videos and all that good stuff. So moved to Orlando to go to film school, and that's when I really honed in on my craft and really understood who I was as a person and understood creatively where I wanted to go. And so now I'm a TV producer. I actually did a bunch of music videos while I was in school. Did music videos for T-Pain, Flo Rida, Trina, a lot of rock bands for Atlantic Records and things like that. That kind of transitioned to commercials and reality shows and even a movie as of last year. So, you know, just trying to keep up with everything right now.
Well, maybe you can put my ugly mug on a film somehow. But I do, because I know I do some education pieces for martial arts and as far as what you call, not choreographer, but like the information on how to move and how to fall and how to strike and all that. The true information about what martial arts is in the movies. So I do a lot of that, and I wish I could do more. Obviously, you just gotta wait for a phone call or wait for someone who needs my help. But that's my purpose and your passion. You know, once you find it, it's there. You know, like you just did.
Yeah.
Like you found your purpose and your passion.
Yes, absolutely. And that's good because I actually love martial arts. Like, my favorite sport is MMA.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been in the gym, you know, doing jiu-jitsu and striking and all that good stuff. And doing a lot of stunt work, seeing a lot of stunt auditions and stuff like that. So that would be good. You never know. You might get a call.
I'm always here. You know, for us to build a global nation, a global community, we have to pull together and work together. And I think that's why I do Bridges Live. And that's why I do Dr. Paul Weekly Wednesday. Because a lot of people have misinformation. And in that misinformation, they have a bad perception. And teaching brain science and the neuroscience about emotional education and how it affects our lives makes people sick. People don't find their true calling, and they don't listen to God speak because there's so much pain, there's so much turmoil, there's so much fear, there's so much disarray and misinformation that hopefully shows like this and my other shows is really why I love to do it.
Absolutely, I love that.
So let's talk about the project you have been doing, because this recent project of the code. Now let's give people a little bit of information about the code, and let's get into it.
All right, so this project, it's a film. It's called the Melanin Code, and melanin, you know, just the melanin that's in your skin. That's where I get that from. The premise of it, I tell everybody this, but the first job I've ever had in my life, well, legit job, was at Chick-fil-A. I worked at Chick-fil-A. The first day I went there, I couldn't touch a fry machine or a cash register or anything like that. They sent me down and I watched a tutorial video, an instructional video. In that instructional video, it talked about, how you should dress, the dress code, the code of conduct, and everything that you need to operate under, to be under the guidelines of working there. That's how I feel about the Melanin Code. The Melanin Code is an instructional video for melanated people because we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to go back and see where we went wrong. We need to have a guideline on how we should, first of all, practice group economics. How do we work together, first of all? That's just, money is everything. We can march in the streets and do everything we want to do, but nothing can move without a dollar. So how can we practice group economics, how we need to educate our own kids, and we go through all the different areas of activity. And that's from Mr. Neely Fuller. Mr. Neely, I don't know if anybody is familiar with Mr. Neely Fuller.
Yes.
He is like the OG. You know, I look at him as like, you know, just a person with just a wealth of information. So the actual format of the documentary, which was blessed by him, was based off of his theory of the non-areas of activity that we are dominated over from white supremacy.
Yes.
So this is not a historical documentary. We do make historical references in the documentary, but I don't want to get confused because I get this. A lot of people compare this to Hidden Colors, which Hidden Colors is. I love Tariq Nasheed. He is like the GOAT when it comes to documentaries. But this is not a historical documentary. This is a solutions-based documentary. Like I said, we go through everything. We go through entertainment, how the celebrities, how they should be on code. We go through the prison system, law, you know, and even like war. And we go through sex, like interracial relationships and everything like that. So this documentary touches on everything, all aspects of life that we go through as melanated people, and how we can, you know, thrive and prosper as a race. Because other races, they already know this information.
So you know, there's a lot of people who probably don't know that melanin is referring to the dark skin of people.
Yes.
Okay, because people are like, you know, and it's sad that I wonder, and I never want to take things for granted, but I'm sure there's some black people out there who don't know that melanin is actually what separates us from the different races of people.
Absolutely.
And it's in that cranial development, because we have a different genetic structure. We, you know, have 12 cranial vibes, and that spins down our backs and then coming off our brain. It's totally different than other cultures.
Absolutely. That's why they say we have souls. That's why we're different. We walk different. We talk different from other races. It's just the melanin. The melanin is everything. It's the key to us. It's the reason why we can go out in the sun and not get sun cancer. You know, this it's everything. And actually, melanin is so powerful that you have other races having, you know, they're hosting melanin conventions. That's why you have a lot of organ harvesting and, you know, people stealing our organs and stuff like that, because they're trying to get the melanin. They need that to survive on this planet for a long time. From my understanding, we've been here the longest, and we will be here the longest after it's all said and done. Other races are dying out, and we're still thriving. So that's why melanin is very important.
It's actually the reason why a lot of black women were breastfeeding all the other white children, is so because they knew they were trying to get that melanin to those babies. That's why babies holds their head up a little faster. That's why we crawl a little faster. That's why we walk a little sooner. There's a lot of reasons and this is why we eat differently, or we should be eating differently, is because of this genetic code.
Absolutely. You know what's crazy? I just had a little baby boy last Wednesday. We were just celebrating his 1-week-old birthday. And he's a premature baby. He was born in 32 weeks. He came out basically no health issues. He could breathe on his own. Everything was perfect. It was just the fact that he was just born early. And the first time I held him, I held the back of his head with my hand, and all of a sudden I started noticing that my hand was moving. And I'm thinking, this little baby is so strong. What is he doing? This is when it kind of hit me that I was a father, by the way. It's my first one, and probably be my only, because I'm not going to do the whole pregnancy and get things yet. But when you brought up the babies, it had me think of like how unique and how strong our babies are, because he lifted his head back just to see who was talking to him, and he opened his eyes. And I'm sitting there looking at my little boy, my 32-week-old boy, just look at me in my eyes. You know, and that's like a remarkable thing. Like, there's no way in the world he should be trying to open up his eyes at 32 weeks old. So yeah, you're spot on when it comes to that. I think we're more advanced. You see, any kind of, when they talk about like African History Month and stuff like that, we've invented everything. You know, and if somebody says, oh, a white man invented that, well, chances are there was a black man behind that invented it. So we're extraordinary people. It's just the fact that we don't know.
Now, I had an interview, and people can listen to all my interviews on iHeart and iTunes Radio, and you can pick it up on YouTube also. And I was talking to Dr. George Fraser. Do you know who he is?
No, I've never heard of him.
Dr. George Fraser he's been teaching economics and the building of the black human being and the African American in the United States for over 45 years. And just like Claude Anderson, we call black economics. We have lots of people who are trying to educate, and also what we're trying to do is awaken the people, all people, because it's the misunderstanding of what we are that keeps us underground, right?
Yeah.
And so is this movie touching on that, you think?
Oh, yeah. We break down. Listen, Dr. Claude, I know you mentioned Dr. Fraser. Dr. Claude Anderson, this was heavily inspired by him as well. The blueprint. He gave the blueprint on what we should do, how we should, practice group economics and what group economics is. But yes, this is a solutions, like I said, it's a solutions-based documentary, and we go over economics. That's the first topic we go over because, in my opinion, it's the most important one. So, yes, absolutely. I have to research Dr. Fraser. What was his first name again?
George Fraser. Yeah, absolutely.
George Fraser. Okay. Yeah, I have to look him up because when you name Dr. Claude Anderson, I'm like, okay, yes, right along. That aligns with what we talk about in the Melanin Code as well.
So I'm gonna ask you some of the tough questions. And the tough question is what the hell is wrong with black people? Why are they so lost?
That is a tough question.
Because it's upsetting, isn't it?
It is. The obvious answer is, we're suffering from PTSD from slavery.
Yes.
And that does play a factor. There's no, we've had a whole government to oppress us, laws after laws and things like that, and that does play a factor. But it plays a factor. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, when, as a people, are we going to wake up? Because we have to see it. We experience racism all the time. We can't go on social media without seeing cops killing us in the streets and stuff like that. So when are we going to wake up? To be honest with you. And why to kind of answer your question of why we're like this, I think is we get distracted too easily.
Well, I tell you, you're right about that, because just like I said, just recently I had my interview with Dr. George Fraser, and he kicked it down. Culturally, they broke down the Nielsen ratings, and blacks watch 10 hours of TV a day.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is being programmed. Now, in the science of brain science, if someone else is programming you, then that's why you're stuck in mental slavery. Yes.
I agree. And this is coming from a person that is in the TV industry. I mean, I make a living off of people watching my programs. And I will say that black people love TV. And the crazy part about it is, the white society, dominant society, they have been really sleeping over the past, I don't know how many years TV has been in existence of media in general. They've been sleeping on the fact that black people watch way more TV than other cultures. And now you see them starting to capitalize off of it. Now you see a lot more shows dealing with, that's catering to black people and stuff like that, which is a good thing. But here's the thing. Everything needs balance. For every ratchet Love and Hip Hop show, and I would say that because I've worked on Love and Hip Hop before, for every Love and Hip Hop show, there needs to be like a Melanin Code. There needs to be something that balances, because we need to entertain each other, but yet we need to inform each other.
Correct.
I think if we have that balance, we will be okay, but it's just too lopsided right now.
It is too lopsided, and seems like, but here, and I've always said, I want people to wake up slowly, because I don't want them to wake up angry. Because if you wake up angry, if you throw cold water on someone who's sleeping, and I still think a lot of black people are still sleeping, and I don't want to throw cold water on them because they're just going to wake up angry. So if we wake them up slowly, and if you ever, and it's so funny because black people, when they wake up slowly, they wake up so slow they go back to sleep.
Yes, I agree. Just when you think they're waking up, it's just like, no, the covers are over their heads again.
Yeah. and I know, like, your movie, The Melanin Code, is waking people up. And I think it's a beautiful way to do it. And is there another... Is this going to be like a continuation? Because we know we need repetition in education. We need constant information. Is this going to be a constant thing with the code?
Okay, so I've been struggling with that idea because I have put my all into this project. And everything I do, I put my all into. I'm thinking later on in a few years, maybe we'll do like a Melanin Code too, but we'll see how that goes. I really want people to see this one. I don't want to move on too quickly because I feel like not enough people have seen this documentary yet. Because I tell people all the time, this is the best documentary that you've never seen. And when I never forget, like when we were doing the premiere in Orlando and Chicago, there were so many people that reached out to me that were like, "Oh my God, I had no idea. This is the stuff that I've been thinking about, but I have never truly verbalized it to my friends, my family, things like this." And I've had people to do. Like watch parties. They will literally get their friends and family together and host watch parties to watch this. And we're talking about other countries as well, India and stuff like that. So I want this to kind of really grow until there's like a true demand for it. I feel like this piece though is timeless. I feel like this will be something. This is a documentary that you can watch 10 years from now, and I say that. But I hope this isn't the case because I hope in 10 years we've solved our problems by now, by then. But it is a piece that will stay relevant for like I said, it's an instructional video. So not only do we need it now, but we'll need it for future generations as well. But the plan is to continue on with projects like this. Absolutely.
Well, I hope, we need to start, getting this distributed into our black churches or schools, because certain schools are just never going to show it. That's to be honest. And then certain people they'd rather watch short YouTube videos than watch a documentary. And so let me explain this to the people who listen to Dr. Paul. And again, I'd like to welcome the Bridges and I'm Dr. Paul, and we're talking about the Melanin Code. Now, the melanin in your body, most people understand it's a skin color, it's about the pigmentation. But it's not, it's a genetic structure that formulates in our skin, and it binds. It's a binding code to what you call neurotransmitters and our ganglia. The ganglia is part of part of the brain stem that helps it grow stronger and fire at a rapid pace, quicker than most. That the stem also enlightens these different, what you call the frontal lobe and the rear hemispheres a lot brighter than most. So this helps you hear things quicker, a little bit more faster. Processor is a different. So you're building like a computer. You're building a faster processor because you enact it. Now people can dull this neurotransmitter and the ganglia by the outside programming dumbing you down. And this is where the systemic process of what blacks have been going through it's being clouded and blocked. So I just want to give people a little bit of a touch science on what the melanin is.
Absolutely, and I love that breakdown because a lot of people don't know. The first time I heard the word melanin was in a song. And it was an artist at the time. I don't know what happened to the artist, but he said something about melanin in your skin, and that word melanin stuck out to me because it sounds like a melon. I was thinking about watermelon or suicide cancer. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't until a few years, probably I learned through Hidden Colors how powerful melanin was. And I'm still learning to this day. Like the way you broke it down, I was like, oh wow, that's fascinating. That's the thing about it. It's like you said, people are slowly waking up. They're slowly waking up. But I think when they really finally understand how powerful and how important melanin is, all this green, all this skin whitening will go away. There's a big epidemic. When I go to Jamaica, I'm half Jamaican. I will call myself Jamaican. When I go to Jamaica, the Asians have completely taken over Jamaica. It is not even a game anymore. from just resorts, everything. And their number one seller, it seems like, is skin whitener. And it is the saddest thing ever. And you go to the Bahamas, same thing. All these, and this stuff has to change. Like, we have to be proud about melanin.
Yes.
Other people want it. We want to get rid of it, which is the weirdest thing. We see people of other races tanning in the sun. They go to the beach to tan. Why?
For the melanin.
We're trying to stay out of the sun, So and we're the ones that's been, chastised for our skin, but yet they're trying to get our skin complexion. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And one day, like you said, we will wake up. Hopefully, not angry, because that's our problem as well. To go back to your original question, why are we still, under the system of white supremacy? It's because we're too emotional.
Yes.
We're very emotional. We don't think logistically. I think once we try to think logically, once we think that way, start thinking an element, and start to really handle business, we'll be okay. But we just need to step out of our feelings. We need to come out of those.
And Marcus, I think that's why I do a lot of lectures or webinars on emotional science. And not to get too far into the weeds, but if you don't understand why you are feeling, you will continue to run the bicycle wheel around and around like a hamster. I just want people to understand, I'm not trying to even change your feelings. I just want you to understand why you're feeling this way and how is it affecting your body on a cellular level. Because once you understand that, then you have the opportunity to change it if you want to. And that's what the martial arts sciences is all about, because we've been doing this for thousands of years, touching your spirituality, touching your emotional, touching your physical, touching your brain, and binding it all together as a balanced code to make you a stronger human being on this planet. Now, Marcus, you've been doing this for a little bit. And we all have a goal, and now that you are a father, does it kind of change your to be like, it's tough to say, because once we have a passion, we're great, but all of a sudden now you're holding your son, and are you now more what you call armored in your work?
Oh yes, absolutely. And it even goes down to the spiritual level.
Yes,
I meditate more. Yeah, I pray more. I'm not religious by any means. I was raised in the church. My mom was a pastor. My stepdad's a pastor. I've seen behind the curtains of, the church. I've seen all that stuff. I just chosen my different path of not being religious. I'm not knocking anybody who is religious, but I've determined to be more of a spiritual person.
Absolutely.
And I think that my child has really respawned or just ignited, just the feeling of wanting to be spiritual, wanting to be closer to God, higher power, and things like that. So absolutely, I'm telling you, the moment I looked into his eyes, I could not believe that feeling that I had. Never have I had that feeling before in my life. And I guess that's the feeling that drug addicts get, and they're trying to, that's why they try to achieve that feeling again. But it was just such a high, and a spiritual high, a mental high, that I want to achieve that highness again. So just having a kid just changes everything. I've heard this my whole entire life. Oh, everything's going to change when you have a kid. Everything's going to change. I never really believed that. I was like, okay, whatever, until it happened to me. So absolutely, when it comes to spirituality, I'm more focused. I'm more focused on my career now. Time is of the essence. I need to do this for this little boy because he didn't ask to be here, So everything changed.
Do you know what there's another, and I've worked with people in drug addiction and stuff, but the reason why people with melanin have more of an adaptation to addiction is because the dopamine is so high inside their brain chemistry. Melanin affects the dopamine in the body.
Yes.
So that's where that whole sensational thing when people where that's why Indians couldn't drink alcohol like they couldn't, or blacks shouldn't be doing the drugs and the drinking as much as they're doing. Like you said, there's a balance to everything, but because we are affected a lot differently than most other cultures of dark-skinned people. Yeah.
You brought up Indians. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you think Oh, okay. So they estimated, I forgot how many millions came from Africa, from the slave trade, from the Americas, whether it's North America or South America. How many Africans do you believe were here already? Do you believe that majority of them came from Africa, or do you believe that majority of them were here in America?
There were some here already in America already because of of how they traveled. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do believe that they were here also, and that's just because they came through the Asia Minor. That's why.
Okay, good. Because I've heard different theories on that. I mean, I don't believe that no one really truly knows the answer because no one was in the past. I believe the only answers that we have are just people that collected, that are historians and stuff like that.
Right.
But I do believe that there are people on this earth that do know because they have the original history books and things like that. I would love to get my hands on like true history. There's a lot of fabricating out there. A lot of people that are posing as, they know this, they know that. But it's just, and there's so much misinformation out there that it's hard to settle on one idea.
But here's the thing. Maybe we don't need to know as much history, but we need to move on from now. So,
I agree with that too.
So, because sometimes we get bogged down to what did happen and what has happened, that we get lost in about how we're moving forward. So understanding what we already know, great. Let's move forward. So now, have you had any backlash between, white America or non-dark skinned people of understanding like this was helpful for them to watch the movie? Because, this isn't about separation. This is about understanding. And I don't want people to make the difference between just because blacks are trying to understand who they are and to be economically, let's move forward economically. This has nothing to do with what we don't like about any other race or color. So is that explained in the movie, or should people just get that on their own?
Oh, it was kind of explained in the movie. I don't necessarily try to do a lot of tiptoeing around the race issues to make people feel comfortable. However, I will say this though. Being a business owner, most of my clients are non-black.
Yep.
I had a lot of clients who actually come to the film premiere, and I'm not going to sit here in front. I was a little bit nervous to see how they would react to the movie. Not saying that, oh my God, they're going to hate me or anything, but I'm just curious to see how they perceive life. I have lawyer clients who are rich millionaires, and their lives are totally different from our lives. Like they grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth, so they don't see racism the same way. After watching this documentary, I would say all of my non-black friends that I kind of really showed them the movie, the film to, they came to me and they said, "Oh my God, it's like one of the best things I've ever seen." Because they get it.
They get it. And that's and I understand it, and I know exactly what you're talking about. When that makes me absolutely more upset that I know my friends and family who I am very close to, who aren't black, who I love dearly, and I will continue to love dearly. They get my understanding, but yet when I go talk to another black person, African American person, they're still stuck in sleep mode.
Yes, absolutely. And the most backlash I've received was from the black community. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I have people DM me. I literally have people DM me to say, "I thought you were going to talk. You should have just, when we talked about interracial couples, you should have said, forget all white people and stuff like that." I was like, my mind was blown. Oh, you should have talked about gay rights. Oh, you should have talked about this. You didn't do this right. I'm just like, oh my God, my people.
My people.
My people. Just please. Like, there's nothing wrong with critiquing.
No.
Like, I'm in the industry. I critique projects, other people's projects. I critique my own. There's nobody that's going to critique my project more than I would. Trust me, I get it. But there's a level when it's past critiquing and it's just downright ignorant and hating. It is, and I wish it wasn't like that. But like I said, I get it on my Melanin Code page. I get a lot of trolling and white supremacists up there, but I really don't count them because they don't know they're just trolling. They're white supremacists. They're going to be who they are. But for the people that actually watch it with an open mind, I would have to say melanated people are probably the leading race when it comes to having something bad to say about it. Not to say that all, because this is a small percentage of people. I would say I would give a 5% percentile rate for this one. For the most part, black people have accepted this and they love it, and they, hand it off to others. That's what I wanted to do. It's not about the money for me for this documentary. I literally wanted to make this documentary and then just put it on YouTube. That's what I really initially wanted to do. But I couldn't do that because I need to actually pay for the production, and all the editing and stuff like that. Money has to be made.
Yes.
And we talk about money in the documentary, so, obviously. But yeah, so I just really want the word to get out. Again, if you want to watch the documentary, just go to melanancode.com. That's melanin, this is horrible for me to spell. MELANIN, melanancode.com.
Now, how can it, so they can actually get to your website through there too? Is that right, Marcus?
Absolutely. They can go to the website. They can go to the Instagram. Instagram is @MelaninCode. Facebook, The Melanin Code. Twitter, @MelaninCode. And they can go to the website. You can stream it, or you can buy the DVD. A lot of people have been streaming it because, I don't know, I have a DVD player, but that DVD player is in my Xbox. That's my DVD player. So a lot of people don't have DVD players anymore, but a lot of people stream it as well.
If we can get this to the young youth, if we can get this to the camps, if we can get this to the kids, if we can get this to the youth so they know exactly where they could be headed, and I like to think that about my podcast and radio show, if I can get these information to the kids and to adults, and as we keep awakening people's consciousness. If you wake up the subconscious is always awake, but we need to align the consciousness with the subconsciousness. And that's what meditation does. And that's what living does. When you align your subconsciousness with your consciousness through your spirituality, you walk a different path.
I agree. Now I have one more question for you.
Absolutely.
Meditation.
Yeah.
All right. So meditating, I'm still trying to understand meditating, because I say that I meditate, but I guess I'm mostly trying to clear my mind. What is the proper way to meditate? What's the goal? Are you trying to think of absolutely nothing, or are you trying to be one with the higher power? What is your definition of meditating?
Well, I'll give you a little bit of background, Marcus, for me, but I've been a Buddhist warrior monk for over 30 years. So, when I teach meditation, most people are misinformed about how to meditate. That is on the Western side. Now, so let me answer your question. There are different forms of meditation. There are different forms of meditation like there are different categories of movies.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So, how you write the movie has nothing to do with what type of movie it is, does it?
You're right.
So how you meditate does form the type of meditation you do and how it affects the body. So you can do healing meditations, you can do clearing meditations, you can do protection meditations, you can do absorption meditation, because the body is what you call a rod and a signal of vibrations. So it does different things. So meditating allows you to tune to a certain frequency to do a certain subject or idea.
Okay.
So
I didn't know. Okay.
So
cool. There's different forms of it. Okay.
So there's different forms. So I'm going to plug my thing. If people want to contact me to learn more about meditation, they're more than welcome. Contact me with Dr. Paul W Dyer at gmail.com, and you can always catch me on Dr. Paul Holistic Science. But I'm going to cut this out, and I'll continue to talk to you off air, Marcus, about meditation. But is there anything else you want to talk about the Melanin Code before we kill it?
No, absolutely not. The only thing is just watch the film.
Watch the film
with an open mind. TheMelaninCode.com. Watch it with an open mind. I tell people, just watch the first 5 minutes. If it does not hook you in the first 5 minutes, turn it off.
And it hooked me. So, cause I tell you, that's why I was like, I gotta have this brother on. So, Thank you so much, Marcus. God bless all you people. Thank you for listening to Bridges Live with Dr. Paul. And we'll be talking to Marcus, and you'll catch it on iHeart and iTunes Radio. And you can always catch the podcast on YouTube. And thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you later.